Wine to Five is partially funded by Albarello Luxury Hand Soap, an unscented must-have accessory for anyone who loves wine, cooking, and food. For more information, visit albarellosoap.com.
It's not 5 o'clock, and they don't care. Welcome to Wine to Five. Entertainment, education, and everyday drinking for everyday people. Your hosts are Valerie Caruso and Stephanie Davis, two wine educators who don't need a clock to know when to pour that next glass.
Welcome back, listeners. Hey, we're going to do something a little bit different this week.
Yeah, we are. We finally tied down the handsome Joseph Perrulli, the founder of Govino. And Val and I are both owners of some Govino goods, and we use them again and again as they should be used. And for those of you that don't know, Govino is the shatterproof, reusable, recyclable glassware. And we've mentioned it before on the show so many times I lost track.
I know. We've been fangirling about this stuff for a while. And while we are enjoying, finally, an interview with Joseph, we'll also be enjoying a little sippy sip ourselves. So before we get into the interview, Steph, what are you enjoying this sunny/cloudy, depending on where you are, Colorado afternoon?
I'm having the Lustau Paulo Cortado Peninsula Sherry. So this one is something I've had on the show before. It's a dry sherry, falls somewhere in between an Amontillado and an Oloroso. And you can get a little sherry refresher back in episode 65. So if you want to go check that out, we will also have a linky link for you in the show notes.
Very nice.
What about you, Val?
Very nice. I am enjoying my very last bottle of Caviola Barbera d'Alba Briche 2011. This is from the Montelupo area, and this is in Piemonte, Italy. And Barbera is one of my favorite versatile grapes. And this one, I just love it. It's super soft. It's got this dark berry lusciousness to it, dried red flowers, and kind of reminds me a little bit of hibiscus tea, if you've ever had it. And if you do have the 2011 right now, I'm thinking you got to drink it. I think the acids and tannins, although they're gorgeously balanced, a little on the low side. So I think it's just starting to kind of, that sine curve of wine quality about, where it's the best to drink, I think it's just going past it. It's still absolutely delicious, and you could probably drink it for, up to another year. And it depends on how you like it. But I was still, snarfing some Cambozola cheese with this bad boy, or girl, because the winemaker calls it the little sister of one of their other wines. So it's very, very drinkable. I was drinking it before the show with that cheese, and it was just absolutely lovely.
I love Barbera. That is definitely one of my favorites, too. And I think you described it right. It is so versatile, and I think that's why it's also, consumed on a regular basis. It is. In Piemonte.
Absolutely. They always say it's what people drink while waiting for their Barolo to age.
That's right. That's right. Well, now we should just sit back and enjoy our time with Govino's founder, Joesph, who is a wine lover, inventor, and an all-around super fun guy. So, here's the show. Thank you for joining us, Joesph.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So let's get into the interview. Would you describe the moment you decided to create the best plastic wine glass for wine enthusiasts? And what was the biggest challenge bringing the idea to life?
I remember the day like it was yesterday. So it was 1998. I hate to admit it. Took almost 10 years to come to fruition. But I was at a wine store in New York. It was called Sterling Cellars, and I was conducting a wine tasting with the buyers, and I had complained about the lousy gargling plastic cups they were using to taste this incredible French Rhone wine that I had with me. And as I complained, one of the buyers went into the back room and procured this amazing vessel that I had never seen before. It was stemless, it was hand blown, and it had a very tight aperture. In fact, Robert Parker used to use something similar to that to assess wines. And when he pulled that thing out and poured the wine in there, the difference between that gargling cup plastic cup, and that beautiful goblet, hand-blown French goblet was, I'm telling you, the contrast was so amazing. So right then and there, I had this aha moment. And I just thought, boy, I want to make a glass similar to this that is flexible and shatterproof, which wine salespeople can keep in their wine bags and use. Because as you guys know, all wines are subject to the glass they are served in. That's ultimately it, really. So it astounded me that all of these salespeople and all these vintners would be out in the world hand selling their wines, totally dependent upon the glass that the shop might have on hand, if they even had glassware, right?
Right.
Typically they don't. So that was the moment, right then and there. And if you want me to jump into the challenges were the main challenge was just getting it produced. I was looking to blow mold plastic, if you will. And back then, most plastics were injection molded. They stack, right? So like the Solo cup stacks. So I was going against that, and I needed to have my glass blown so it had a tapered flume to capture the aromatics of wine, of course. So that was my biggest challenge. And then, of course, finding the right polymer that reacted, that would showcase a wine's color, flavor profile, and aromatics, because most plastics didn't. So shattering that stigma attached to plastic was a huge challenge, because every time I went to a plastics manufacturer, they would say, well, the wine industry hates us. And every time I tried to pitch the idea to the wine industry, they would say, I hate plastic.
Oh,
so, yeah, I mean, truly. So bringing those two together was also just a big challenge. So,
I'm sure
and of course,
you probably heard no 100 times or more.
I heard no 189 times or more. Yes, it was crazy how often I heard no. Also, another big challenge was no one would accept stemless. They thought, oh my gosh, every wine glasses have to have stems. Of course, proper stemware should have a stem. But I was, of course, I was trying to produce something that was an alternative to when you couldn't have that proper stemware. So Riedel, when Riedel launched O Series, that really helped me in a lot of ways, because that broke the stigma of, okay, you got to have stems, right?
Oh, so yeah. How did that fall in the timeline?
That fell in the timeline. That was right when I was still showing prototypes. So I still didn't have I didn't have production going. I was still looking for a producer, but I had assessed how much these molds would be. So I was looking for investors to help subsidize these molds, of course. So as I was I'd be out in the world showing off prototypes. Once Riedel O, launched their O series, it really helped, because again, it just shattered that stigma attached to so that truly helped. So that was great timing. And then another great opportunity was when Fiji started Fiji water. You started seeing Fiji water in restaurants. That helped too, because plastic again was like, who would ever think a plastic water bottle would be, sitting in a 5-star dining establishment, right?
Oh yeah.
So that kind of helped too in some ways. So that was. So that challenge that helped that stemless challenge for sure.
Okay. Hey, so you were originally a wine sales guy.
Yep.
On the road, 150 miles a day or whatever it is. But when did you first fall in love with wine? And besides a successful business, what do you appreciate most about wine?
Well, I think I was fortunate, because my Italian heritage, my grandfather drank wine with food. So it was never like this ceremonious thing. It was just part of the dining experience, and he'd have it with lunch and he'd have it with dinner. So it was something very casual, and it was just part of the dining experience to me. Of course, I didn't have an educated palate then, and it didn't taste that great to me then. So as I got older, of course, that appreciation grew. And look, Robert Parker back in the early days had a huge influence upon me. I think he had that upon a lot of people, So I started to really appreciate, some of these artisanal wines, and I got hooked. And that's how I got in the industry, mainly just to get into the hobby. I was so passionate about the hobby.
Well, so Joseph, tell us a little bit more about what's going on with Govino now and what's in the works and what can we look forward to?
Well, we've moved all production to the U.S., which is very exciting. We're manufacturing dishwasher-safe Govinos, which are more durable, yet they're still very thin and elegant. And we still have the original line, which is more of I never like to call it a single-use product. I always thought of it as a semi-disposable or recyclable, ultimately always recyclable product. So, but the more durable dishwasher safe line has been selling extremely well. We're very happy with that. We're working on some new designs. We've got some new designs coming out that we're excited about. And I've got a single serve concept that we hope to be launching in early 2017, which is very exciting. So I think single serve is the future for, a quality wine experience, when you can't, again, when you're in a setting where you have to have a closed container.
Yeah.
A lot of high-end these stadiums now, everyone's really upping the wine program. So I think there's a great opportunity there. So we're excited about that.
My gosh, I wish the airlines would up their wine programs in economy class, and but I can see where storage may be an issue of a bunch of single serve. I don't know.
It's storage. That's a great point. Storage is an issue, and we've already addressed that. So we've configured this to just sort of it streamlines right into that storage issue and that service issue for airlines. So we're very excited about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you more, but you'd have to sign a non-disclosure.
Right. And then, of course, all our listeners would, too.
Yeah, exactly. So look for it soon, and I would say by 2017 we should have a very exciting Govino-esque kind of single serve.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I have to tell you, I took the beer and and I had the 12-ounce Govinos at first, the dishwasher safe ones, but we took them on the road trip with us. We were gone for like 2 weeks, and those things came out every night.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And they didn't need to be dishwasher safe because you don't have dishwashers in your hotel room. So
exactly.
We love them. We just absolutely love our dishwasher safe Govinos. Of course, you come back, toss them in the dishwasher, and they're ready to go. But
there you go. I love it. Thank you. And what is it? So, and that's a great point. Is it the thumb notch? Is it the contoured base? Is it the way it feels? Because there's other stemless stuff out there, but we're so fortunate that there's some magic there with the thumb notch, right?
There is. We were talking about it. In fact, I was sitting around the fire.
Yeah.
And I think I tweeted out a picture of the beer. I was drinking, I think, an old Chub in the beer one in front of the fire in Jackson Hole. And we had a conversation about the thumb notch. Because I'm like, this thing is brilliant, because I could see where it would slip out of your hand.
Sure.
But I would rather hear it from the horse's mouth. Can you tell us about the thumb notch?
Yeah, tell us about the thumb notch.
Well, the glass was still warm when it came off the production line. I went to pick it up and my thumb went right into it.
Boom.
No, I'm kidding. No.
I believe just then.
That would have been great. No, that was the whole idea in the very beginning, was to produce this stemless glass to where, because of that stem wear challenge or the lack of not having a stem, we all hear how it'll warm your wine and change the aromatic profile or change the flavor of wine if it's too warm. Of course it will. We all know that.
Right.
But when you're sitting outside at a campfire, are you really thinking like that?
No.
So the whole concept of that thumb notch and that base was that you can hold the glass in such a way that you could hold it in such a way that your hand won't wrap around the bowl. Once the thumb notch was designed the way it is, it became, and that's Dylan back there. He's a wine lover too.
Oh,
and Govino's dog friendly. I think you know that, right?
Yeah.
So once the thumb notch, we finally got that final design, we realized just how ergonomic it was, right?
Right.
So aside from the fact that if you pinch the glass with your thumb and with your forefinger and middle finger at the base, you could actually hold it without clutching the bowl.
Absolutely.
So those wine snobs that are concerned about warming their Côte de Rhône, they don't need to worry anymore.
That is brilliant.
That is good. I like that.
So you're right, though. There is something about the thumb notch. We were very fortunate that it just has that appeal, you know?
It really does. I mean, I was like lovingly fondling my glass and thinking, boy, this is just genius. But yet I didn't have it like gripped like a Bud Light, just like elegance. It's
Right.
elegant. It's
Right.
it's very tactile. I'm a tactile person and really enjoyed having beer. And I have to say, my honey did too. He was like, man, this is great.
Well, you know what's fun? It's interesting because most women naturally clutch that. Excuse me, that's Dylan who wants a Govino glass now. You sold it on. So most women just naturally clutch a Govino and immediately place their thumb into the thumb notch. Mm-hmm. And I find that most men use their forefinger. So it's very strange. That's just something, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I've noticed that in the years. So, and whenever we do events, we'll laugh because I'll see men like pick up the glass and immediately their forefinger goes into the thumb notch. So I always have to correct them and say, hey, your thumb goes there. So.
Yeah. Funny.
We'll have to watch. I'll have to watch.
Yeah.
How
check
my
that
man
out.
picks up the beer glass. Or the
Yeah,
wine
there
glass.
you go. There you
It's
go.
like a new drinking game or something when you're at events.
Right. You can tell who's in touch with their feminine side just by seeing how they pick up the Govino glass.
Joseph, we're at that part of the interview where we love when our guests share a funny wine story.
Oh, gosh. Well, I think I gave you guys a precursor to that. It was, I was horrified, but now, of course, as I look back, it was, not that big of a deal, but it was very embarrassing for me. I was at Aspen Food and Wine, and we had just launched our decanter. And I don't know if you guys noticed, the decanter holds an entire bottle.
Yes.
And more, it's a 28-ounce decanter. It doesn't look like it, right? All of our designs, they're so thin, they hold a lot more volume than people realize. Like that, our wine glass holds 16 ounces. That's over half a bottle of wine. So the decanter holds 28 ounces. And of course, people, when we were launching this at the Aspen Food and Wine Festival, no one believed us. So we'd always just grab a whole bottle and just decant it, just rigorously right into the decanter and just let it go. So we would do this at our table. And then after the grand tasting, I was at an event, a private event, and there were some legendary producers there. And I was showing the decanter to someone, and they said that can't possibly hold a full bottle of wine. And I said, can indeed. And he sort of was egging me on. So I grabbed whatever was near me, and it happened to be Literai, Ted Lemon's Literai, legendary Pinot Noir. I didn't realize it. I grabbed it, and Ted was there. I didn't see him, and he was giving everyone like little 1 ounce pours because he didn't have very much of it with him. And I took that bottle and just slammed it into the decanter. So that was embarrassing.
Yes.
He ended up using the decanter and was appreciative. And then I sent him some samples and an apology a couple weeks later. But that was embarrassing. But maybe I sold some decanters out of it. Who knows?
Maybe you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
And you survived it. So that's
I
good.
survived it. We all survived those stories.
That's right. That's why they're good to tell.
Well, I just love what you guys are doing, and I really appreciate you being interested in this. I wish I could, I can't possibly tell you the difficult odyssey I had, but I don't want to discourage anyone. I mean, we all have ideas. It's just, I think just don't give up on them, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just can't.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for doing this, Joseph. I know that we'll at some point meet you in person. I have a feeling.
Oh, for sure. Our product is made in Colorado, which is made in USA right there in Colorado. So that's great. So I know you guys are based there. So one of these days.
Hey, could you tell our listeners where they can find Govino or you and where they can interact with you?
Oh, my gosh, yes. Well, I'm at govino.com. That is our website. And I'm always at these food and wine events. So I'm constantly going to these things. I love interacting with our customers. I love to hand out Govinos.
Oh, my God.
And what about on social media? I know you're on Instagram.
Yeah, and Facebook, and we have a social media team that does that for us, of course. But yes, our Facebook page, we love getting photos from people, and that's another thing. We get so many photos of people, they just love to send images of what they're drinking and the exotic locale, could be Timbuktu, but they send us these great photos and we love posting those. So
awesome.
Bring them.
Awesome. And we will link those accounts up for the listeners as well. So they can find you online and find you on social media and post pictures of their Govino adventures as well.
Absolutely. Love it. So excellent. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And if you need anything else, you just let me know.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that, Steph, and I think that's it.
And that's it. That's right. So connect with Val on Twitter at WineGalUnboxed and on the Vino with Val Facebook page and on Instagram as Vino with Val. And you can find me on Twitter at Albarello Soap and on the Albarello Soap Facebook page and on YouTube.
And you can visit us on the Wine to Five website, Facebook page, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Google+. And if you want to build your collection of wine books and accessories like Govino, please check out our online store, also located on our website, and that is at www.winetwofive.com. We hope that you'll share Wine to Five with your friends and online community, and we certainly appreciate all of your feedback, all of your involvement. Please leave us a burning wine question or comment on SpeakPipe, or while you're at it, check us out on iTunes and show us some love there in the form of a glowing iTunes review so other wine lovers can discover our fun Wine to Five community. One more thing. Don't forget to use the hashtag W25Challenge tag when you are trying new wines and new drinks. And until next week, cheers!
Thank you for listening to the Wine to Five podcast. Be sure to check us out at Facebook/WineTWO5 and tune in next week for more fun and useful sip tips.